Hello friends. For a long time I have not talked with many of my Facebook friends. There are many new friends of mine too nowadays, and quite a few old friends. My old friends would be knowing that we used to sit in the evening and we used to pick up some good books, and say 5 6 people or 5 6 friends, we used to read books together, and after half an hour or so we used to share what we read from the book. In this way, every weekend we were able to complete a few good books over a few cups of coffee. But now the situation is that we are not able to meet together, so I thought, why not to come live and read books. Hello Balwan Garg, nice to see you here. So I'm going to read this book, okay, uh, and explain what is there in this book. It's a very nice book for those who are in the education field, school scenario. All right, this book is really going to help a lot. I think it is my first live talk in Facebook. I do not know how many of you are there. Alpana ma'am is there. Nice. Alpana ma'am, long time no see. Where are you? Sometimes give me a call too. All right, I think that this video will be there. So this book is about human resources in school, human resource in schools, managing for success. Okay, so the title is quite self-explanatory. That, and it is written by Mrs. Anju Dhawan, who is founder and director of SMS Consultants. Okay, it is one of the uh, biggest, I would say, consultants in the field of recruitment in the education field. So in this book it is written about the importance of proper human resource management, how to do it, and a few case studies are also there. Okay, like how to do the manpower planning, what are the plannings which should be done for doing the man planning, so that after hiring you don't have to rethink again, you know, and the people, they become system operated, not a single man operated. So the processes are given in which the recruiting, staffing, okay, and how to do the induction, how to do the orientation, how to do training, how to do development. It's not that in the name of training you start training people for something which they have already been doing. Okay, say for example, if some person has worked in international schools for many years, and just for the sake of training you start engaging a person in such kind of trainings which he or she can themselves become a trainer in that. So that is a that is not good. So the training need has to be identified. Okay, so all these things are told in this book. Then how to review the compensation packages, then how to do performance management and appraisals. See, very nicely these two words are taken together. Not only the appraisals but performance management also. Performance can be managed. When a person is hired, then the person will definitely have some qualities which can be harnessed. Okay, so just if you think that by doing appraisal and by giving scores you can manage performance, it may not be possible, because performance management requires lots of other skills. Then retention, okay, how to retain your employee, then how to conduct an exit interview. Exit interview is very important. Say when a person thinks of leaving a particular organization, mostly it is found that they don't try to leave the organization, they try to uh, go away from the reporting boss. Okay, they don't like the reporting boss, so there is some kind of uh, problem between the reporting authority or someone in the organization, due to which the person tries to leave. In most of the cases there could be some other reason too, but it is said somewhere, it is also written that people don't leave organizations, they leave their bosses. Okay, then grievance handling, okay, and innovative HR practices. So since she had been doing Mrs. Anju Dhawan had been doing lots of research work in human resource management, so she has given some innovative HR practices too. All right, so I'll go to the forward. In forward she is taking the example from a cue from Mark Twain. Says that nowadays schooling is mistaken for education. Yes, true, schooling is mistaken for education. Education is a lifelong process and is quite holistic, whereas the schooling means a particular type of pattern of thought to which the disciples will have to be, in the line, or in that method they have to be there. It is true. One can come across amazing school buildings with great infrastructure and sprawling campuses out of this world. School names and very well designed, super convinced web pages where one can find we mold your children into global citizens, and all these things are kept in inverted comma. Yes, so many promises you will see that will be there in the websites and all right, so that is there in the foreword of this book, in which it is mentioned that how far all these promises are met and how is the promises met, or if the website is not plagiarized is also a question. Okay, because most of the website building is done by the content writers and it is just filled up, so it is like that. Then this book also involves letters from various good principals of good schools, like Mayur School, Noida, and quite a few other schools are there. Many good principals have given their inputs too. So in acknowledgement these are mentioned, and after that, so she is Anju Dhawan ma'am. Okay, so here you can see. She is Anju Dhawan ma'am. It's a great personality, very down to earth and very uh, great personality indeed. So she says that nothing an organization does is more important than hiring, training, and developing people. At the end of the day, you bet on people and not the infrastructure. A building without right people is a body without a soul. is what she is writing. Okay, she is writing this quote over here. Okay, in this quote it is written that nothing an organization does is more than hiring, training, and developing people. At the end of the day, you bet on people and not on the infrastructure. A building without right people is a body without a soul. Yes, true. Now imagine in this lockdown situation where, uh, in this say lockdown 1 or lockdown phase 1 or lockdown phase 2, during lockdown phase 2 or lockdown phase 1, what was happening? Schools were there, but teachers were working from their home. Now, where was the school actually then? The school was at home. Right now, also, you can see that I am talking from my home and I have a whiteboard and a tripod stand behind me. All right. So, in this way, I have a small teaching studio in my bedroom. I can teach from here. So, what a school is? A school is not a big building. School is not a cluster of swanky offices. A school starts around a teacher surrounded by students, physically or virtually. It is so true. So, without people, organization is just like a body without soul. So truly said. So, once people are hired, they are trained and developed to meet the uh, vision and mission of the organization, and they start working on it. You say that the organization is live, organization is living. Otherwise the organization is not living. It is soulless. It does not have any soul. Okay. So from here she starts, and then she gives the importance of hiring, training, and developing people. Then again she starts with a very motivational quote which will bring your interest to read the further topics. She says that the core responsibility of human resource in school is to manage, nurture, and educate and prepare prospective human resources in the society. Okay. Yes, a good human resource manager or a human resource developer, okay, his responsibility is to develop a human being as a resource to work for a particular purpose or a goal to be met. Okay, it is human resource management is not to just check attendance, to compare salaries, to make people who can appease you, to make people mm, who can do your personal works, to make people who can stand with you to share whatever you feel like. All right. So human resource management is meant for nurturing, educating, and preparing people to meet the organizational goals. Train them for organizational goals, not for doing day-to-day transactions. Okay. And then she is giving a complete detail about the challenges in the challenges in managing human resources in school. So the first challenge is what she is saying is that getting quality educators in small cities and towns. Yes. Getting quality educators in small cities and towns is considered to be a challenge but may not be a challenge too. All right. There can be excellent teachers in a very small village or in a small town. Those who do not have exposure to any job portal, and those who are not too ambitious, they are rooted in a particular school and they are teaching for a long time. But nowadays, when many schools are opening and when the new generation, they are not interested to take up education or teaching as a career, there comes the shortage of good teachers. You will find that the young engineers and teachers or young educated people, they are interested to teach in various online academies, in various online video uh, media, but they don't like to get into a school. Why? Because maybe they know that their teachers were not respected well. Their teachers were not respected well, and they would not also be respected. So, although they like teaching, but they don't want to join a school, so they would prefer to open their own coaching center. They would prefer to uh, do online teaching. They would prefer to do content writing. They would prefer to join any online teaching platform. But joining a school would be the last option, maybe. All right. So that is why getting quality educators in small cities and towns is a concern. And another thing is that what happens in big cities or in special economic zones or cities around special economic zones, the expectations of corporates are known to the new professionals, so they can train the students at par or near to at par with the standards of the industry people, like talking in good English, talking with proper grammatical control, or having good control in grammar while speaking, with proper poise, politeness, etiquettes, all that all that can be understood by somebody who has really worked in good corporates earlier. Okay, but if there is a big generation gap and the expectation of industries are not clear, then the way of teaching would not be uh, at par with the standards which are required. Say for example, say some 15-20 years back, writing telegram used to be there in the curriculum. But right now what is important is to learn to write good emails, good memos, good reports, blogs. So for that, what is required? For that, it is required for a teacher to be in the modern age. If somebody would still be there in the classical age, then will not be able to prepare students for the modern age. Then shortage of passionate educators. Mostly it is also seen that teachers are of two types: teachers by choice and teachers by accident. Teachers by choice are those who pick up teaching soon after their graduation and they do their B.Ed and they join teaching and they love it. Fortunately, if the school is good, leadership is good, they love teaching and they continue. But if the leadership is not good, the school is not good, then the teacher gets demotivated and picks up some other job. Okay, so the passion for teaching among the youngsters is decreasing. That is causing a shortage of passionate teachers. Then schools running as a business. Yes, very good point. This is a very, very good point. Schools running as a business. Well, there is no harm in doing a good business. But doing business with lots of monopoly and in a very self-centered manner is not good. Say for example, a person has a child and the child needs to get admission in a school, and for getting admission in the school and to get the form of the school, the person is asked to buy uniform at first. The person goes to the uniform shop and there he has to pay amount, and a part of the amount comes to the school's some person. I would not say who, maybe some person, because why not the person is asked to purchase the uniform from anywhere else? Why from that particular shop only? Now imagine if the cost of the uniform is say 1000 rupees, and for every uniform 100 rupees goes to that person, and if there are say 1500 students in the school, can you imagine how much of unaccounted cutting money is going just from uniform? Say there are 2 sets of uniform in a school, then shoes, then notebooks, then textbooks, then. So schools are running as a business. Earnings are there, but payment is not at par, or not, not even regular in many schools. All right, in many schools I would say, but some schools are really doing good. Okay, in fact maybe where I am working is also doing very good. So now imagine a doctor who does a course for say 5 to 7 years after higher secondary, and a teacher also does the same amount of learning for 5 to 7 years or even more after higher secondary. A teacher gets somewhere around 20, 25,000, even 18,000, 12,000, 5,000 even. But what does a doctor earn? Now a teacher teaches and tries to uh, minimize the weakness, and a doctor gives medicine and tries to minimize the illness. Level of education is more or less same, the number of years invested, the level of education is more or less same, but see the difference. As a result of which also there is constants of good leaders, okay, good teachers. But I would not say that that should also be also a constant. There can be some people who can still be a very good teacher for a low salary compared to others. So salary is not a constant, but yes, if schools will think of giving good salary, then the people, those who are going to IT sectors or maybe some other sectors, they would prefer to come to school. So young generation may get motivated to come to school and join school. Then job hopping. In good cities, job is not a problem. There are a number of sectors, a number of jobs, and they don't mind hiring people for a few months. And even if you say that you left the previous job after 6 months, so that is not a big matter of surprise. So job hopping is also a big challenge. How to replace a teacher in place of a teacher who hops job. Then lack of true leaders. Everyone wants to become a leader, but nobody wants to learn to become a leader. They try to apply experimental methods, and they feel that that experimental method is worth working. So lack of true leaders without proper training of leadership, all right, without proper experience, without enough experience. Sometimes mentally ill, physically ill people also continue, all right. So lack of true leaders are also there. Then changing environment. We are seeing that the environment is changing, technology is changing, curriculum is upgrading itself, all right, lot many changes are there. So are teachers able to keep a pace with all these changes, environmental changes? So that is also a concern. So then technological change, which I just mentioned, yes, like augmented reality is there, machine learning is there. So there are so many other new methods of teaching which are there, for which a teacher needs to train himself or herself. Are they getting enough time to do so? Or they have, say, out of 8 periods, say 6 to 7 periods back to back, and after that they have got other administrative duties also. So if it is so, then how will they have that leisure time to think of self development? It's very difficult. So these are the challenges. So today I have covered up part A of this book, okay, introductory part. So I'll try by next weekend, I will sit again and I will pick up part B, and in part B there will be best HR practices. So this book can be purchased, whatever I am saying, it has a I'm trying to say from this book mostly, but if you want to have first hand knowledge, then you can buy this book from Amazon, all right. If you write the name of this book, you will get. And if you want to have the link of this book to be bought from Amazon, then also you can put a comment. I will give the link of this book to be purchased from Amazon. It's a really very good book. There is another good book written by the same author, Mrs. Sanju Dhawan. It's up to you. This book should be given to some children, that it is up to them how they want to decide their career and their life and their future, not to blame anyone, and take their own life at their own stride, okay. So this can help anyone, even people at our age also it can be helpful. So there are two books so far I have seen written by this author, and this is really very practical book, okay. So I'll give the link of this book once you comment, and if you want the link to be purchased from Amazon, I can definitely give the link of this, and cost is also very nominal. It's not very highly costly, and I'm not sponsored for doing this book review at all. I'm doing it all because I like this book. I like the title of this book, and instead of doing MBA in human resource management for corporate sectors, for schools the scenario is quite different. For schools you need to have a different set of people. So this book has case studies related with the human resource problems in schools, not in corporates. Okay, so in schools you require different kind of people, so different kind of approach in human resources required, different type of strategies are required. Okay, so this book will be very helpful if you buy and read it. All right, so I recommend this book for you all. So next weekend or by this weekend or in between, I will again come up whenever I'll get free time, and I will review this book, part B of it. In part B, it is mentioned about best HR practices, and then case studies will pick up. And you can also share your case studies in the comment, and I'll read out those case studies for you all. All right, in this way, we can again further ask the author to enrich this material, and those case studies can also be put up. All right, thank you.